I'm Daniela Cambone, and I am joined by Keith Neumeyer, CEO of First Majestic Silver. Today, we're going to be talking the company's latest results, the Q4 results. Keith, always good to be with you. Nice to see you.
Yeah, it's wonderful seeing you again as well, Daniela.
Yeah. Well, excited to take a deep dive into the results, but just want to tell the folks out there, you're going to want to be sure to stay tuned to the end because you'll have the chance to win, or at least find out how to win, a 10-ounce silver coin. So be sure to stay tuned for that. Keith, let's start. If you could give us just a general overview here on your producing core assets in Mexico.
Sure. We've been in business for 19 years. Back in 2017, we had 7 mines operating actually in Mexico. All of the assets are in Mexico. We used to produce a lead concentrate, a zinc concentrate, as well as silver and gold concentrates. Today, we're actually in a pretty good position where we're only producing doré bars. So we have 3 mines now. We shut down some of our small, older legacy mines, which we're actually looking for partners for as we speak. But the 3 core assets, the Santa Elena mine, the San Dimas mine, and the La Encantada mine, are producing about 14 million silver equivalent or silver ounces, and about 24 million silver equivalent ounces. About 65% of the production silver, and the rest is in the form of gold. And these are just doré bars. So, as a mining company, we're pretty thrilled just to be able to produce doré bars.
And you said you're actively looking for partners. That's a scoop there.
Well, maybe. I don't know or not, but I think Todd, our VP of Corporate Development, he spends a lot of time talking to partners. So I'm sure people know that those assets are looking for partners. But it's M&A's, obviously a way we have to always look to build the business, right?
And Keith, I understand First Majestic is in the final stages of converting the Santa Elena operations from diesel to natural gas power. What's behind the decision, and how will this affect costs?
Yeah, well, thanks for bringing that up. We about 5 years ago, we had 2 mines on La Encantada was our only mine at the time, but on diesel. We switched it over to LNG. And it turned out to be quite a benefit for the mine, cost savings, and also it's environmentally much better, a lot, greener footprint and so on. Santa Elena, when we put it in our portfolio at the end of 2015, it's always been running on diesel. And we've looked at different ways of converting it over. We looked at the power line, we looked at solar panels, we looked at a variety of ways to switch it over from diesel. And LNG just made the most sense. And we did a deal with a LNG supplier. And we're spending currently $14 million a year on diesel. And by switching over to LNG, we're going to save between $8 and $10 million a year just on energy costs. And for a 6 or 7 million ounce producer, that's a lot of savings.
Absolutely. And just to stick on the topic of costs here, I was reading that a significant percentage of the company's CapEx in 2021 is going to be spent on the Ermitaño project near Santa Elena. Can you give us an update on the project, and when can we expect or anticipate production to begin here?
Yeah, Ermitaño is discovered in 2016. It's 4 kilometers away from the Santa Elena mill, so it's very nicely situated, to current activities, which is fantastic. We've been developing and drilling that ore body. We're putting out a new 43-101 out within the next couple of weeks, so I'm reluctant to say too much because we have a document that's just about to be publicized. But that ore body, or that ore will start to get fed to the mill in early 2022. So we're doing about 5,000 meters of underground development currently. We're about 1,000 meters into it, and we're developing 5 levels of this mine. And it's going to really change Santa Elena because the grade of this Ermitaño ore body is substantially higher than the grade that's currently being fed from the old heap pads, which is part of the feed that this mill is getting. So we're estimating that, that currently we're producing about 5 million ounces of silver equivalent a year, 50% silver, 50% gold. And as I said in the previous a couple of minutes ago, we're seeing, the number probably approaching 7 million ounces by the time Ermitaño comes online in early 2022.
And last quarter, Keith, you announced the company's inaugural dividend. Can you tell us why you chose to link it to the company's revenues, and when shareholders can expect to receive the first payment?
We've debated dividends for quite some time. There is a, in the mining space, there's always a debate. Should we be paying shareholders a dividend, or should we be putting this money back in the ground? And I think with the cash flows that we're receiving today, I think it's now time. The company is 19 years in, and we get requests on a regular basis about a dividend. So we decided to launch it effective January 1st, 2021, and it's not payable until the end of each quarter. So we'll have to wait for the audited financial statements to come out for March 31st, and then it'll likely be May before people start receiving a dividend. But it's pretty exciting. It'll be interesting to see the comments we get once people start getting their dividend in the mail. But I'm excited about it personally, and I think it's a great achievement for me.
Absolutely. I'm sure a lot of investors will be excited. And like you said, it's not something that we commonly see in the mining industry. So definitely, groundbreaking here.
Yeah, and just to finish off, Daniel,
Yeah,
ask me the next question.
please.
We have fixed it at 1% of revenue. And the reason why we did that is to kind of fix it to the metal price, because as metal prices go higher, of course, that 1% is going to go higher as well. But if I'm right, and we're in a very serious, long-term bull market in silver and other commodities, then I think that we could ratchet this percentage up over the next 3 to 5 years. So the goal is actually to increase it over time, maybe go to 2% or 3%. We'll see how high we can take it. It'll really depend on, the legs of this bull market.
And I guess forward looking, Keith, where do you see production growth in the next 3 years? And is M&A needed to reach that goal?
Well, the goal we put out, there was a statement I put into our January guidance news release back in early January, whereby I said, that our goal is to hit 30 million silver equivalent ounces, of which about 65% would be silver, and the rest would be gold by 2023. And we're spending money today to achieve that objective. We've expanded our development projects quite dramatically, both in Santa Elena and San Dimas, and that's all for the purpose of hopefully filling these mills, because the mills have larger capacity to what they're currently being fed. The bottleneck is at the mines themselves. So we need to do the development today. And going back 5 years, the cash flows just weren't there to invest the capital. Now we've got the cash flows, we might as well spend it on development, and that's going to translate in higher production going forward. So that's not with M&A. M&A would be on top of that.
Keith, there's been so much excitement in the silver space. Obviously, we saw the silver squeeze, and I know in past interviews we talked about how inventory has been flying off the shelves at your First Majestic's bullion store. If you could just talk a little bit about the energy or renewed energy that we're seeing in the silver space right now.
It's pretty exciting. I haven't actually seen this happen before. I've been kind of wondering, what the catalyst is going to be that's really going to ignite the price of silver. You've asked me that question many times over the last, decade since you and I've been doing interviews. But I've always thought it would be a supply-demand thing. It could be, I don't know, name a company. Apple couldn't produce their iPad, or Panasonic couldn't produce a television, and they due to the lack of silver supply. But now it's looking like it could actually be retail driven. It may not actually be commercial driven.
Interesting.
Because now all of a sudden we've got all these millennials, which is a big number of investors now looking at this space. They didn't have eyeballs on this space previously. Now, all these millions of new investors are now looking at silver, and you don't need a lot of them to buy, because the market is so tight as it is. A couple of these, a few 100,000 of these investors go buy, a couple ounces each. That's a big number for such a small market. The miners are only producing 750 million ounces last year, and we're consuming about 1 billion ounces. So, there's already a deficit there, and you put another 100 million ounces of demand into a pretty tight market because of the millennial investors. It could be pretty interesting.
And still the commercial side. I know you said this is the retail side, but I've had a lot of titans come on the show, and they were telling me, they're preferring silver over gold as a play because of this push into green energy and solar energy. So there's a lot of buy-in for silver.
It's really happening, and it's pretty exciting. I've been touting, I don't know, maybe not touting is the right word, but at least talking about the virtues of silver for 19 years since I put this business together, and um, it's been quite a challenge. I've been first to call for triple digit silver. People laughed, and calling silver strategic metal, and now people are actually calling it a strategic metal, and I came up with that phrase, over 5 years ago, so maybe 10 years ago. So it is catching wind, and it's really nice. I'm no longer the only person out there talking about the virtues of silver.
You're not the lone wolf, Keith. No, really good thoughts, and it'll be interesting to see how silver develops. Just like
High-Ho Silver, the Lone Ranger.
the Lone Ranger, exactly. What's interesting, Keith? I think the last time we did this, the gold-silver ratio was way over 100, and you were saying, look, that this ratio is going to explode one day. We've come. Look how far down we've come, right? Somewhere in the 60s right now as we're speaking today.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'm assuming you see it headed much lower here.
I think it's going to get close to its mining ratio. Now, I, of course, don't have a crystal ball. I don't know if it's ever going to get there, but the mining ratio is 8 to 1. Logically speaking, that's where the price should be. So, you pick your gold price and divide it by 8, and that should be your silver price. Only time will tell.
All right. Good thoughts, Keith Neumeyer. So, as I mentioned at the start, First Majestic will be offering 10-ounce silver coin. And I'm going to read the instructions now, but I want to say you guys upped the ante. Last time it was 5-ounce. Now it's 10-ounce silver coin. That makes a nice coaster, folks. So you're going to want to be sure to pay attention to these instructions. It's not easy to guess because you're going to have to correctly guess the closing Kitco spot silver price to the penny on March 31st, 2021. Guesses will need to be entered as a comment on the First Majestic Silver YouTube page. One entry per user by March 15th, 2021. No new entries will be allowed after March 15th, 2021. So good luck to all, to the penny. It's not easy, and I'd love to participate. I won't, but I'd love to participate. So good luck to everyone. And Keith, thank you so much for giving us the lowdown on the Q4 results.
It's my pleasure, and look forward to the next time we have a chance to chat.
Thank you, Keith.